The reality is that organization is actually something we have to keep doing. We're never really done organizing because life changes, things continue to accumulate. It's not like a status that we achieve and then we're good to go and we can do other things. Welcome to Simply Convivial, where we embrace the beauty of our ordinary everyday work with joy and purpose. After all, convivial means cheerful, friendly, and full of life. Exactly how we want our homes to feel. I'm Mystie Winckler, homemaker, homeschool mom, and author of the book Simplified Organization, Learn to Love What Must Be Done. Today I have a montage of clips from last year's Simplified Organization Community Coaching Kickoff Zoom call. The ladies featured here shared excellent insights, and they gave me permission to share them with you. My favorite part about Simplified Organization Community Coaching are these Zoom calls, and I think after these clips, you'll see why. So grab a basket of laundry to fold and let's dig in. All right. It was funny. This morning I noticed that, I got a notification that there was a comment on a YouTube video I put out a few days ago or last week on getting organized is going to take a year, not a week. That week between Christmas and New Year's, I felt the temptations. Okay, I have a whole week. I can get everything put together and we can start the new year ready to go. And so I was like, okay, this needs to be a video. I need to tuck myself off the cliff. And I know there are lots of other people that need to be tucked off the cliff. And it's funny, I was listening to another podcast on organization with my daughter in the car. And this lady also sells organization stuff. And she was saying that it will take you 3 years to get your organization. And she's talking about more like paper and systems set up. It will take you 3 years to get it figured out and applied in your own circumstances. And my daughter was like, that's crazy. Certainly not. If you're talking about having a lot of backlog that you have to go through, that's going to take time. And then you have to change your habits, and that takes time. And you have to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and that takes time. So even in saying organization will take 1 year instead of 1 week, you can start to see progress and change your direction in a year. But the other piece of the reality is that organization is actually something we have to keep doing. We're never really done organizing because life changes, things continue to accumulate. It's not like a status that we achieve and then we're good to go and we can do other things. We can increase our skill and we can start to understand what to do, what not to do in the time frame of a year. And that's what community coaching is set up to do, is just to give some time to think through all the different areas of a home, because there are so many areas, and then they're all affected by our own mindset and our own habits, and we have to adjust those along the way as well. Anyway, someone left a comment that was like, I don't have a year. I should have been organized years ago. I'm too old to take a year to get organized. I haven't replied yet. Sorry. There is no such thing. It's not a switch that you flip. And no one also is too old. We can be embarrassed or sad that we've reached the stage that we're at and we aren't there yet. That doesn't change reality. It doesn't change the past. And it doesn't mean that, reality is going to be different for you. There is no quick fix. There's just accepting where we're at and working from where we're at, taking the next step forward. And I'm excited because that's what you all are here doing. I'd love to hear first from a few of the ladies who are repeat community coaching participants. What was your biggest win from the last time around? And then how is that, whoops.
Oh, okay.
And then how is that informing and informing the progress that you're looking to make this year, or what are you zeroing in on this year?
I guess my biggest win last year was that the skills that I had learned the year before kept me from going totally off the rails when I got sick. And so being able to pare down and just keep at a maintenance level last year was really refreshing, and seeing the progress that had been made over a couple of years of doing things and how it just kept the system running even when I wasn't functioning at a good pace. And so I'm looking forward to having my health back this year and getting back into really fine tuning things again and iterating a bunch of the things that I wasn't able to last year. And my goal this year is to be more self-disciplined and implementing some of the things I have not yet done.
I'd say mine's pretty close to yours, Karen. We have essentially had sickness, it feels like, since Halloween. And I feel like in years past, everything would have just fallen apart and things have slipped. I'm not going to lie, but it's not become overwhelming. And so the little things of weekly review and daily cards, and like they've kept me on top of things enough that I'm not drowning. I guess in the last few months, I've just realized like you don't actually arrive at all of it. And I loved checking that box and thinking, that's done. Not going to have to do laundry again. Or dishes done. Why do I have more now? And those things would end up aggravating me. Like, why do I have to keep doing these things? But this is what has to be done every day. So to shift my mentality to accepting, okay, that's great. I got the lunch dishes done. I'm going to have more. That should not be a surprise. To be a little more joyful for those things and to just realize that it's not a one and done and that I'm going to have to keep doing the work.
I think one of my biggest wins from this last time around on coaching was that I did not quit that I didn't quit when I didn't do everything. That I really believed, Misty, this time that if I listened to the lesson, it counted. And I just have seen the Lord chipping away at my perfectionism. And that's just one example. So I think just realizing that I don't have to do things perfectly or quit. And that just to keep plodding along is the biggest win. And it's taken me 3 or 4, however many, I don't know how many times I've quit. If we add up all the parts, it doesn't matter. So one of my goals is that I'm going to breathe and smile before I respond to my children. That's going to be my goal for a whole 6 weeks. And I'm probably going to fail at it, but I don't know, just really I'm getting this, going through it so many times, realizing, and someone said this in the comments, that my attitude is one of my biggest hindrances in this. And that's either my attitude of perfectionism, or that's even probably some of the reasons I get irritated with my children, because they're stepping on my ideals in my home. And that's really not majorly problems with them, but majorly problems in my own heart. So
I don't know how many times I've actually gone through community coaching. Maybe since the beginning, Misty. So however many times you've run it, I think I've been here. But I don't, like, this past year, like there was one year where I really did not engage much at all because I had taken on some new obligations that really took my focus. And this past year, I just decided, nope, I'm going to go ahead and go back and like actually be intentional. And my intentionality was listening to the lessons at least. I had begun a walking habit, so I've been listening to them on the podcasts and just really immersing myself in the philosophies and everything else this year is just good reminders. But I think my biggest win was that there were certain lessons and things that would pop up as I was listening. And I'm like, oh, I've got that. There were certain aspects of like how I'm running my home and life right now, where it is like I've been implementing these practices and things for long enough that I'm really seeing like a steady way of managing things. And that even when things come up that cause my life to be majorly disrupted, that I have something in place that we just roll back in with. And it has really decreased those boom and bust cycles that you've talked about for so many years. And it just, those, instead of having these huge ups and really low lows, it's much more leveled out and consistent in how I'm able to manage and just bring the home back together whenever we've had like just major life events happen. So we've had weddings, we've had kids move out, we've had kids that aren't ours move in, we've had all kinds of like enormous ups and downs and changes, we've had major illness, and it still was like we were able to maintain over a longer period of time. And I do credit that to the repetitive nature of going through community coaching. I laugh because whenever I signed up for Simply Convivial the first time, I signed up for the quarterly membership right when you opened it. I was like, oh, I've been wanting to go through some of her classes. I'll sign up for the quarterly membership and that'll be good. And I'll just get everything done and then I'll be able to just be done with this. And it was so good and so helpful. I've been doing this for years now. And yeah, no plan on quitting.
Yeah, I've done this a bunch of times. I don't know how many times though. So last year in 2023, we moved house back in February, and we had a lot more stuff, just bigger house, all those things. But I found I could find my feet in a sense because I had these basic skills. I was doing my weekly review. I was doing a daily card. I was just thinking through these things. I knew that I needed to find those household routines, find that morning routine, that evening routine, the kitchen routine, just to find these things so that I can see things going through. And having done that once before and having learned how to climb back on the wagon, because this is, as telling my husband, this is just life. This is just life. We climbed back on the wagon. Because if you didn't have to do it today, you're going to have to do it tomorrow. And yeah, and somewhere in all of it, I found the sentence, the thing that sort of defines what I do right now. I bring order out of chaos. I care for people with food and clothes, and I open my home in hospitality. That's in one of these modules somewhere. And I have just grasped hold of that. And I ask myself when I'm feeding someone, when I'm doing dishes, when I'm doing laundry, and it's okay, I'm caring for people with food and clothes. I'm doing it. I'm bringing order out of chaos as I pick everything up and put stuff away. And I want to just spend more time in the attitudes, the ideas within the modules, just to really think through them, to dwell upon them, because they keep my head out of the clouds. They keep my heart and my eyes pointed where they need to be. It helps me keep my eyes on Jesus. And yeah, it's been good for my soul, you might say.
I think another thing starting out is to be okay with not having it all figured out. I think that was one of the things when I started, is that I wanted to understand the whole thing before I did any of it. That was the perfectionistic piece of it. But get over yourself that you don't have to understand everything just to go do something. And that it is as you start implementing, you will start getting the understanding and seeing how it works. And you're not going to, there's many pieces that you probably won't fully understand until you're further into things, but don't not start because you don't think you understand the whole thing. Take the piece, practice it, give it a try, and then move on to the next thing and just keep building. But yeah, I think especially those of you that are perfectionists, because most of us are, let yourself off the hook for that, and it's okay.
It's been a great conversation. I took some notes. I think shockingly encouraging is a phrase I'm going to add like somewhere. So I find it to be as well. So thank you everyone for making the community what it is. And I look forward to seeing you on future Zooms and continuing this conversation on Zoom and in the chat spaces. I'm excited to get started with you all. So thank you so much. Bye. So we call it Simplified Organization Community Coaching because the coaching comes from the whole group, from participating in the community, and not from me telling you what to do. We have dozens of like-minded ladies engaged in the work of growing in competence, faithfulness, fruitfulness, and even holiness in the context of managing their family life at home. Registration for our 2025 cohort is open now until January 6th, and we'd love to have you be one of our group. Learn more at the link in the description or go to simplyconvivial.com and click the purple enroll button in the upper corner. Simplified Organization Community Coaching is included in your Convivial Circle enrollment at no additional cost, but you do have to sign up for the small group before January 6th. Come learn with us to repent, rejoice, repeat every day.